Hi, this is Johnny Bruce. You are listening to Afterlife Conversations. Imagine the space where spirit speaks, science listens, and the invisible becomes real. In this podcast, we explore the profound connections between our world and the next. I will be your guide on this journey of discovery, healing, and understanding. Each episode, we delve into the stories behind my guided meditations, revealing the messages from those who have crossed over and the wisdom they share with us. What if fear isn't just an emotion, but a frequency? What if joy doesn't just feel better, but actually travels farther in you, through you, and beyond you? And what if the most powerful thing you can do in a world that feels loud, angry, and uncertain is to ground into joy on purpose, long enough to let it ripple? Today, we're going to talk about contrast, influence, vibration and tension, the brain, and the soul, and how joy can become your response to fear. In our last episode, we discussed how we experience contrast in our life in the form of emotions. When we watch the news and experience a disturbing report, we see injustice or know sorrow from a loss compared to the joy of a newborn, the unconditional love from a significant other or pet, to the excitement of a pleasant surprise. I have had spiritual teachers and my own guides share that we come to this plane of existence to experience the emotional roller coaster. We come from Source, or if you prefer, heaven. Our essence, when on the spiritual plane, resides in a perpetual state of joy and love. It is a place of good, and we are created from that good and only know the absence of that good during our human experience on earth. Our essence, our soul, experiences the good and bad emotions on earth to know the difference. There is only one person we truly control in this life, and it is ourselves. Through that control, we learn by creating our experiences through our thoughts and emotions. With that expansion, we learn more about our own ability to create good in a world where others can create experiences of bad. We can't control, but we can influence others. Just as someone who thrives in manifesting bad experiences and influence others, those of us who have evolved to a level of consciousness to create good wishes to do so and create opportunities to influence joy in others who may be experiencing fear or anger. In the last episode titled The Emotional Recession, we experimented with the thoughts and feelings of fear or anger compared to the thoughts and feelings of love and joy. We are all energy and connected with all. Think of the butterfly effect. When a butterfly flaps its wings in one part of the world, it can influence a typhoon in another part of the world. We can influence through our thoughts, creating a ripple to many. The level of influence is determined by the frequency and vibration of the emotion realized by that thought. Dr. David Hawkins studied the vibrational frequency of emotions. Fear and anger vibrate at a much lower, slower rate. Think of those emotions as sluggish, where joy and love vibrate much higher and would be lighter and have a greater ability to travel faster and further. Consider how misery loves company, or those who promote fear and anger usually have accomplices. It takes several to keep the propulsion of the emotion and thought to generate behavior. On the flip side, consider one who can influence a country, continent, or even the world, like Jesus, Gandhi, or Martin Luther King Jr. They each experienced contrast in their lives, yet realized the power for good and how their thoughts could drive emotions of good, resulting in a monumental shift in others. From a neuroscience perspective, we have mirror neurons that give us the ability to have empathy and know the emotions of others. With our ability to control, we filter what we experience based on our own beliefs of how we want to feel. This is also reinforced by our ability to have perspective of the experiences of others. For example, if someone loses someone they love and we have not, we search for a perspective, a thought, to be influenced by the feelings of others. There are experiments of someone laughing in a crowd and others join in almost without a thought. We see and hear laughter, and we have experienced laughter since we were babies. We have perspective and know the feeling of joy and freely allow ourselves to be influenced by laughter. Even as others join in group laughing, they will begin to laugh without knowing the source or thought that generated it in the first place. From a scientific perspective, mirror neurons help us experience the emotion by way of physical and neurological reactions. From the spiritual perspective, our essence recognizes the joy from where we came and find it easy to allow ourselves to lean into the joy where we may scrutinize the contrasting thoughts and feelings of fear and anger. We are also influenced by the state we are in now. If we are angry, it's less likely we will lean into the joy and instead seek thoughts and experiences that keep us in that state. It takes being present and mindful to shift and change our state. If we are constantly living in a state of looking for what happens next, we may not truly grasp our current state. Have you ever wondered why fear tends to come with a threat? It keeps us looking at tomorrow and not looking at today. Mindfulness means we will stop, recognize the feeling and the thought that initiated it. Because we have experienced contrast at different points in our life, we know the difference between fear and joy. The feeling of joy is our preferred state because it reminds us of where we came from and where we know we will return. Ever wonder why the analogy of heaven above and hell below? Think about it from the vibrational frequency of the emotions associated with our understanding of each. Let me remind you of a message I recently had in a mediumship reading for my client named Scott. His loved one recognized that Scott was living in a state of joy at that moment. Scott validated that that was true. The loved one continued by saying that due to the current state of society, he needed to ground himself into that state for a while. Scott's loved one encouraged him to not allow contrast in his life now. However, to maintain the state of joy and hold tight for a while until things improve. I interpreted that message to put a hold on his journey of experiencing contrast and maintaining the vibrational frequency he was at in that moment. By holding strong to his present state, he would not only protect him from the fear and anger that was prevalent, but to use his joy to influence others. When he does, he will be able to start a ripple of good like the butterfly. Messages from loved ones on the other side of the veil are not only for the receiver, but for us knowing they come from Source, the place of perpetual good. If we all filled our thoughts with joy, felt it, and allowed it to influence our behavior, we can influence the good around us and in others. It will begin to overwhelm the hate and anger, allowing its sluggishness to sputter out and eventually influence fewer people. It is in our essence to know joy and do good. If you are in a state of fear or anger, own it and control it. Move to a state of joy in the moment and know that fear and anger can't catch you unless you allow it. When we set an intention and wish for it to manifest, we know that our essence feeds our intention from our purpose and our want for spiritual growth. Our physical body offers us tools to form thoughts and feelings in support of that intention. Through dedicated reinforcement of our thoughts, we can build the belief and neuropathways in our brain that can help us act on that intention. Spiritual teachers will tell you that you must set your intention and then let it go. Surrender to the intention. This goes without saying that a watch pot never boils. There is truth in that saying. However, to surrender to your intention, it must be ingrained in your brain like a habit, helping you to form the belief that it is done and become your reality. When that happens, your brain filters out the millions of pieces of information to allow that new reality to come to pass. Our brains don't have a sense of time. Our brains use external factors to help us know time. So if we believe our intention is our reality, our brain will do everything in its power to filter only on those people, experiences, and decisions to reinforce the reality of our intention. I have reviewed countless research to learn that it takes time for our brains to build new neuropathways that form an unconscious habit. Unconscious means we have surrendered to the intention, the thought of our newly manifested reality. We sometimes lose patience and cannot understand why our intention hasn't manifested already. If we watch the pot and do not see it boiling, we can have the tendency to shift our belief that it will never happen. If we think about it, then it is so. We are now surrendering to the frequency of thoughts and emotions that will bring us down. When you go there and find yourself saying that it will never happen, then over time, that newly worded intention becomes a belief, and your brain will work overtime to filter people, experiences, and decisions to manifest that as your new reality. Our spiritual essence doesn't abide by the concept of time. It's our human experience that rules the day on this planet. So work with it. If you question why you haven't realized your purpose or manifested your intention, be mindful of what you are reinforcing every day. Have you considered the human laws of nature and what it takes to work within those laws? It can take 6 to 10 weeks to lock in a new neural pathway that will help form the unconscious habit that sets the brain to find ways to manifest your new reality. Let's get started with a guided meditation to help us do just that. If you can, settle into a comfortable position. Let your hands rest easily. And if it feels safe, allow your eyes to close. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a longer breath out. Again, inhale and exhale. Now bring your attention to the place where you feel emotion in your body. Maybe it's your chest, maybe it's your throat, maybe it's your stomach. Just notice without judgment. If fear is here, notice it. If anger is here, notice it. If heaviness is here, notice it. And as you notice, remember, mindfulness means we stop, recognize the feeling and the thought that initiated it. So gently ask yourself, what thought is driving this feeling right now? Now, do not fight the thought. Do not wrestle it. Just name it quietly. And now choose something else. Bring to mind a moment of pure joy, not a perfect life, just a real moment, a laugh that surprised you, a look from someone you love, a newborn's presence, a pet's unconditional love, a pleasant surprise. Let that memory become more than an image. Let it become a feeling. Imagine it as lightness in your body, a higher vibration, a warmth that rises. And as you breathe, let yourself lean into it, because from the spiritual perspective, our essence recognizes the joy from where we came. Now set an intention, simple and clear. Say it silently in your mind, like, today I ground into joy. I hold tight to joy. I influence good. I choose the frequency of love. Set that intention and say it silently in your mind. Now, imagine your intention like a seed, already planted. And because your brain doesn't have a sense of time, you're going to practice believing it is already real. Picture yourself waking up tomorrow morning and affirming this intention again. Picture yourself noticing the moment you're pulled toward fear and choosing joy anyway. Picture yourself recognizing when the people, experiences, and decisions align with your intention. Now, widen your awareness. Imagine your joy moving outward like ripples on water, a ripple into your home, a ripple into your relationships, a ripple into your community. Think of the butterfly effect, a small movement that influences far beyond what you can see. Let your joy be that movement. Now, one more breath in and a long breath out. And as you breathe, begin to bring yourself back. And as you return, remember this: fear and anger can't catch you unless you allow it. When you're ready, feel your fingers, wiggle your toes, open your eyes. It will take work for Scott to set the intention to maintain the emotional state of joy when there are others who will try to influence him out of that state. However, if he wakes up every morning affirming his intention, feels that reality in his mind, and recognizes when the people, experiences, and decisions align with it, then he is on his way for that to become his new reality. So, what are you waiting for? Let yours begin now, because it has already happened. Thanks for being here on Afterlife Conversations. If this stirred something in you, subscribe, share it, or reach out to me at johnnybruce.com. I'd love to know what came through you in your stillness. Until next time, trust your inner knowing, and remember, the universe speaks to us. Keep listening, and as we know, that voice in your head may not always be your own.